Can you swim for 4 hours straight? What about 6 hours? 10 hours? 20 hours? If you're wondering why anyone would ever want to swim for that long, you're not alone. But that's the reality of marathon swimming, and distance addicts around the world keep coming back for more. When you think of a marathon, you probably think of running. But marathon swimming is becoming a more popular way for the world's craziest athletes to test their mental and physical endurance in some of the most dangerous conditions in the world. Who needs running anyway? So, is swimming a marathon harder than running one? I'm going to settle the debate once and for all. Let's dive into what it takes to complete one of the toughest swims in the world, and why an increasing number of people decide to take on the challenge. A marathon swim isn't a relaxing dip in the ocean, and it's definitely not the same as a marathon run. I mean, obviously, they're not the same, but I'm talking about distance here. Sure, some crazy people might try to swim a full 26.2 miles, but according to the Olympics rules, a marathon swim is any swim in open water, that's a lake, river, or ocean, that's longer than 10 kilometers or 6.2 miles. Marathon swims can be as long as 30 miles. It just depends on where you're swimming and how crazy you are. And distance swimmers have been crazy for almost 150 years. One of the first ever recorded marathon swims was in 1875, when Captain Matthew Webb swam 33 kilometers across the English Channel in 21 hours and 40 minutes. Yes, that's almost a full day of continuous swimming. It seems that Captain Webb started a trend. Since his first recorded swim, more than 4,000 people have swum the English Channel, and even more people have tried and failed to complete the English Channel and other marathon swims. People risk their lives for these bucket list swims, braving water that's as cold as 50 degrees Fahrenheit or 10 degrees Celsius, and putting their bodies to the ultimate test, fighting against Mother Nature's tides, waves, and winds, and losing up to 10 pounds during their race. But more on all of that later. These days, there are thousands of marathon swims around the world, but perhaps the most famous is the Triple Crown of open water swimming: 33.3 kilometers or 21 miles across the English Channel, 32 kilometers or 20 miles across the Catalina Channel in California, and a whopping 45 kilometers or 28 miles around Manhattan Island in New York. But those aren't the only famous marathon swims by any means. There's also the Ocean 7, a brutal gauntlet of 7 swims that takes swimmers on a globe-trotting journey around the world, from 44 kilometers or 27 miles across the Molokai Channel in Hawaii to the North Channel, which stretches 34 kilometers or 24 miles between Ireland and Scotland, plus 5 more intense swims in between. Check out our video on the Ocean 7 Swim Challenge for an in-depth breakdown of these insane, dangerous swims and what it takes to actually finish them. So, could a runner swim a marathon? In my opinion, the short answer is no way. Let me explain. I think it's clear that there are quite a few parallels between marathon swimming and marathon running. They're both endurance sports that require a lot of training and mental strength and an insane amount of endurance. But a few key things set marathon swimming apart as the clear winner here. First of all, running technique doesn't transfer well to swimming, and I'll bet you a pretty penny that most elite runners would struggle to finish a 10K in a respectable time without any training. With months of intense swim workouts, I think a runner could do it. But being good at running doesn't mean they'd be good at marathon swimming. Sure, their cardiovascular fitness is on par with what's needed for a marathon swim, but they won't have the specialized technique that's needed to swim efficiently for hours and hours and hours. Swimming is a full-body sport that works your muscles in ways running just doesn't match. And that's partly why some runners use swimming as cross-training or injury rehab, which ends up making them better runners. It's also worth saying that swimmers aren't always great runners either. If you want to be good at doing something for a really long time, it's going to take some specialized training. There's just no way around it. Plus, marathon swimming can be really lonely. Most of the time, swimmers do solo marathon swims and end up trudging through rough conditions totally alone, with their support crew watching from a boat nearby. It's easier to surround yourself with people during marathon runs, since the majority of the time you'll be racing in a big group. And don't even get me started on the training. To prep for a long marathon swim, you're going to spend a ton of time in the water. Marathon swimmers who train alone end up spending hours staring at the black line on the bottom of the pool, or use their weekends to travel out to open water training spots. Depending on the length of their race, swimmers may log upwards of 20 to 30,000 meters per week or more. And since swimming typically takes longer than running, marathon swimmers end up training for more hours than runners, although that's not always the case. And that doesn't include out-of-the-water training like strength workouts, recovery stretching, and more. If you're new to marathon swimming and want to see if you can handle the training, check out the 10K Challenge or the 10K Open Water Training Plan in the MySwimPro app. MySwimPro coach will create a personalized plan based on your swimming speed that will whip you into shape for a 10,000-meter pool workout or your first 10K marathon swim in open water. The key to success in marathon swimming is consistency and following a progression, and these customized plans will help you get there. Speaking of open water swimming and training, swimmers have to do one thing that runners will never do: look down into the mysterious abyss with no idea what lies in the water beneath them. They might end up swimming through the night, with pitch black closing in from all sides and minimal light to guide them as they go. And somehow they have to swim straight with no official course to guide them. Runners don't have to worry about any of that. Weather can also make or break a marathon swim. Currents, wind, sun, and waves often push swimmers over the edge. In the wrong conditions, a swimmer may end up swimming kilometers longer than planned, or they could overshoot their finish point due to strong currents and have to fight their way back. Sometimes the currents are so strong that a swimmer ends up adding multiple hours to their race time, or they might have to give up after losing their battle with Mother Nature. There's very little chance of that happening in an organized marathon run where the course never moves. Swimmers also put themselves at risk for hypothermia, since they're spending hours and hours in the freezing cold water, many without a wetsuit. Plus, there's the wildlife factor. Imagine getting stung by a swarm of bees and having to keep running. Yeah, crazy, right? Marathon swimmers often have to deal with jellyfish stings and other aquatic animal sightings during their swims. Many swimmers force themselves to power through hundreds of jellyfish to complete their races. Hey, maybe the threat of jellyfish stings would make you swim faster. Who knows? Speaking of speed, marathon swims typically take much longer than marathon runs. In the Olympic Games, the 10K marathon swim takes the world's fastest swimmers around 2 hours, which is about the same time as the marathon run. But what about the rest of us? An average 10K could take 4 to 6 hours, but longer swims, like the 21-mile English Channel, take about 13 hours, and that's just the average. Many swimmers finish much slower than that. To put it in perspective, the average marathon run time is about 4.5 hours. Triple that, maybe add a few more hours, and that's how long it takes to swim 26 miles. If I haven't convinced you of marathon swimming's superiority yet, let's take a look at the rules. Official marathon swimming rules are super strict. According to the Marathon Swimming Federation's rules, swimmers can't wear wetsuits or use gear that enhances buoyancy during their swims. And when you have to swim in water that can be freezing cold, swimming without a wetsuit is extremely tough. What if you had to run a marathon in the winter wearing just shorts and a t-shirt? That's essentially what marathon swimmers have to do. It's a massive challenge both mentally and physically, and it can be deadly if the swimmer isn't prepared for it. On average, the water in the North Channel between Ireland and Scotland is about 54 degrees Fahrenheit or 12 degrees Celsius. At 21 miles, that's a long swim to be without a wetsuit. Swimmers also can't make physical contact with anyone for the entirety of their race, so nutrition and hydration can be a challenge. Runners can stop at an aid station, catch their breath, maybe have a sip of water. That sounds so relaxing. But marathon swimmers, they have to tread water and stay afloat while they refuel, so it's not really a break. Their support crew passes sports drinks, water, gels, and other snacks to the swimmer, and they quickly grab what they need and get back to swimming as quickly as possible. Speaking of nutrition, a lot of English Channel swimmers end up losing weight during their swim. And it's not just water weight. On average, a swimmer could expect to lose about 4 kilograms or almost 9 pounds of body weight while swimming. No, this is not weight loss from training. This happens during their crossing. Marathon runners might lose some water weight during a race, but their losses won't approach anywhere near that extreme. In fact, many marathon swimmers actually bulk up and gain extra body fat during training, both to use as extra warmth and to account for weight loss mid-race. Okay, one more thing since we're talking about weight loss. Let's talk calorie burn. Swimming a marathon burns way more calories than running a marathon. Of course, calorie burn varies widely based on sex, age, body size, and other factors. But according to the American College of Sports Medicine, a 155-pound person will burn about 493 calories swimming slow freestyle for an hour. By contrast, Harvard Health Publishing reports that a 155-pound person burns approximately 288 calories per hour when running at a 12-minute mile pace. A 12-minute mile results in a 5-hour, 14-minute marathon finish time, burning about 1,500 calories. Our swimmer, though, would burn 6,400 calories during a 13-hour English Channel crossing. A 4-hour 10K swim would result in 1,900 calories burned. The proof is in the numbers. Whether or not you think that marathon swimming is harder than marathon running, I think we can all agree on one thing. Marathon swimming isn't for the faint of heart. Let me know down in the comments if you would ever consider trying a marathon swim. Or if you have, let me know what your experience was like. And if you're ready to start training, download the MySwimPro app for personalized workouts designed to help you conquer your first 10K. If you like this video and want to learn more about marathon swimming, check out our other video about the English Channel, the most dangerous swim in the world. Thanks for watching and happy swimming.